Hello everybody, Jake, your resident content cowboy here, yeehaw, and with the Fairy Festival coming to Pokemon Unite, as well as Alcremie on the 12th, we have a big decision in front of you, which is which of the free Pokemon to pick up. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this event in general, and then I'm going to give my take on all of the options, the best Pokemon to choose, the one you absolutely need to stay away from, and more. Let's do it. First, let's take a look at the Fairy Festival event that arrives on June 5th. By the way, the same day as the Switch 2 release date. Will there be Unite on Switch 2? Will it be optimized? I don't know, but dang, it would be a good call. All right, let's look at this. As you can see, new Hollowware. None for Guardy right there, but new Hollowware. We've got Clefable's Battle Pass. We have Galarian Rapidash. We have Alcremie with Hollowware. Alcremie obviously coming on the 12th to the game. Oh, there it is. It joins the fray on June 12th. Welcome on in, buddy. Place dollops of whipped cream to heal allies. As I've talked about before, by the way, I'm going to scream that people are not picking up my dollops. They're not picking up my dollops, dude. Healing power to support your team. Oh yeah, your Unite move. Fluffy Cream Supreme. Quite a name. The Fairy Festival is coming. There's the Clefable Battle Pass that is coming to the game. The first supporter Battle Pass that we've ever had. Probably not the Pokemon I would choose, but it coincides perfectly with the event. And Clefable's actually pretty good right now. There's the recall animation. The Battle Pass for Season 32. Azu getting the early skin. Man, we might get an Azu buff. Participate in the event to obtain the following: a free Unite license, which I'll talk about in a minute, and Hollowware for a Fairy-type Pokemon of your choice. Can I just, before we move on, I'll talk about the Pokemon, but the Hollowware, it is a clear choice which Hollowware you should pick up here. I'm not even going to say it. I want you to say it in the comments. It is so unbelievably clear which Hollowware you should get for free that I won't even, I simply refuse to acknowledge it. Because it's so unbelievably clear to me. We also have new trainer fashion items. You can dress up like a fancy maid or butler. Then we have Panic Parade coming back to the game, where if you use fairy type Pokemon, you actually get a bonus to the Tinkaton that exists in the center of the map, kind of the, you know, your home base that you're trying to defend. So Tink gets stronger. I'll talk about, well, let me talk about that right now. Tink being stronger for Panic Parade is not going to make your Panic Parade necessarily better. And if you use Comfey in Panic Parade, I'm going to freak out. I'm gonna spit up into the air and catch it in my mouth, okay? I'm not gonna be happy. That's all I'm saying. Don't use Comfey. If you have to use fairy Pokemon, Guardy, Azu, Mimikyu, Tink, like Zacian, things like that could be pretty good, right? Do not use Comfey for that event. 50% off. We have the fabulous rewards, the Hollowware, and a Unite license of your choice. Pokemon Unite, baby. All right, let's talk about it. So, of the Pokemon that they have shown, there are a few options available. We have 3 attackers, 4 supporters, 1 speedster, and 4 all-rounders available for this event. No defenders in the game available. These are going to be your selection choices for the free Unite license. And there should be 1. They usually do 1. If there are multiples, that would be very, very cool. But I'm guessing you're going to have an option of picking 1 of these Pokemon as your free Unite license. So I do think it's reasonable to talk about which one you would choose in this scenario. There is one that I think you absolutely should not choose, and that is going to be Alolan Ninetales. Now, I don't think a lot of people are going to be able to choose Alolan Ninetales. You get this Pokemon for free. I also worry that with how they set things up in the game, if you're a brand new account and you get this license through the fairy event and then you later unlock it, normally if you were to buy it, you would actually get coins back, which you could say like, hey, I could sneakily get coins back and buy something else I'm interested in. That might actually work for a brand new account, but I can't guarantee that it would work for a brand new account. And recently with free Unite licenses, if you already have them, they'll give you like 100 tickets or something like that. So I would just stay away from Alolan Ninetales here. I don't think that should be one of your options. But let's talk about each of the roles. We have our attackers, Guardy, Sylveon, A9. I like all of these Pokemon in different ways. I think if any of them are going to get a buff, it would probably be Sylveon. So if Sylveon buffs are on the horizon, in fact, if a lot of fairy buffs are on the horizon, this could shake this choice up a little bit, right? I think Sylveon could be an okay choice. good Pokemon. The Eevees are always good. Evolving at 4 is very nice. Early Unite move. I do think it's a little underwhelming right now. It just doesn't feel like it has enough oomph to sustain, to help push towards a victory. And also, I believe its win rate is not crushing it right now. I would probably take them in this order: Guardy, Sylveon, Alolan Ninetales. Gardevoir is great. However, its playstyle is very specific. It's long range mage, right? You are throwing your moves at long range. Anytime there is a meta that is very dive heavy, your life is pretty miserable with this Pokemon. However, lining up a huge Unite move is very cool. The damage is considerable. I do think it's a really fun Pokemon to play, but you have to be interested in that playstyle. So this is what I would recommend for attackers. In general, I probably wouldn't pick one of these three. I just don't think you're best served by grabbing one of these three, especially not Alolan Ninetales. Now onto our supporters here. Supporters are busted in the game, and if you don't have a good supporter, I would probably say this is your time to grab one. I think the Fairy event is a great time to grab one of these supporters. You can't really go wrong here, but I am going to sort of order them based on my personal preference. So all of these are good in different ways. Comfey, unless you are playing with people you know, is probably the least valuable. It's not that this Pokemon isn't crazy good, it's just that you have to rely on your allies, and sometimes your allies are not making the best decisions, right? So playing Comfey at times can lead you to spitting up into the air and catching it in your mouth. You get very frustrated. I don't know why that's my example for being frustrated, but it currently is. I've never done that in my life. It sounds really gross. Mime, Clefable, Wiggly. So, Clefable is the battle pass. It recently got buffed. I think that makes it a great choice. I also think Moonlight is crazy good. Like, the healing on this Pokemon is ludicrous right now. But it is full-on support mode, right? You're not really carrying much with this. You could play the Draining Kiss build. I don't personally love that build currently. I think you have fun matches with it, but it sort of takes advantage of players not playing well, which is not always my favorite thing. Mime is the strongest carry of the bunch. So if you're looking to have a support that can also carry, there's Mime. And if you're talking about this list not having a defender, let's be fair, you kind of do have two defenders in Wiggly and Mime here. Mime is one of the trickier Pokemon to play, but once you get the hang of it, you realize that this thing is unbelievably good. Wiggly is one of the most fun things to play in the game. It is such a troll. It is so hilarious playing Wiggly. I kind of love it. I do think my recommendation is about like this. Wiggly is hilariously fun, but it's more of a defender, so keep that in mind. The best support, like, in your brain on this list is going to be Clefable. However, if you plan on picking up Alcremie, you know, I don't know if you need two supports who are going to kind of do that. Mime is amazing, tricky to play, but super fun, and really strong. And then Comfey is really only, I would really only recommend Comfey if you're playing with people you know. Speedster, if you need a Speedster, Galarian Rapidash is here. Much better than after the nerfs, right? They buffed it a bit. I think it's way more reasonable, even though they could still buff parts of its kit, in my opinion. I don't think it's awful anymore. You can have some good games with it. I would still like to see them tweak this Pokemon, but I think it's decent. It's decent. It's weird. It doesn't really feel exactly like a Speedster to me. It has an odd role. I've seen some teams even try to play this almost as a support, running EXP share on it and using things like Smart Strike to, you know, push their opponents around with stuns and things like that. I still think this one is like middle of the road. It's okay. Now onto our all-rounders, which are all pretty good. We have Mimikyu, we have Azumarill, we have Zacian, and we have Tinkaton. So Mimikyu is like a hybrid speedster all-rounder, in my opinion. It plays, you need to play very aggressively with it, and once you get the hang of Shadow Sneak and moving around the map, this thing is an absolute joy to play. It's such a fun play style. I feel like I badged this one. It's like one of the quickest Pokemon I badged, because I was just having so much fun playing it. Azumarill, I actually think surprisingly good. It's really strong early and falls off a bit late. It could still use a few buffs in my opinion, but if you fight well early and keep the pressure on your opponents, this thing just snowballs and takes over games. It gets very powerful very early. So if you can take advantage of that, you're doing great. If you get shut down a little bit though, and you're behind with this, you're behind all game, which is rough. Zacian was one of the more broken all-rounders in the game, and it recently got some nerfs that kind of brought it back down to earth. I think they were planning on pairing it with amulet coins, so they thought they could nerf multiple aspects of it. I still think Zacian is good. It might, in some ways, it might still be the best all-rounder here, but it's definitely worse with the nerfs. However, I feel like even when this thing is not great, it's still a pretty amazing Pokemon. And then we have Tinkaton, one of the newest addition of the all-rounders on this list to the game. Tink is good, takes advantage of low skill opponents or you playing with a team, requires you to brawl a lot early, and if you do, and you can stack up its hammer stacks and then probably double stack or at least stack an attack weight with it, this thing becomes a bit of a raid boss by the end of the game. So those are the different play styles. We have kind of like hybrid speedster, we have early game monster, we have, funny enough, like all around good Pokemon, which also is a monster early in Zacian. And then you have Tink, which is kind of a late game beast. A really good Pokemon, again, if you can get this thing online. The order I would probably recommend these in is, I'd probably go Mimikyu, Zacian. This one's tricky. I bet we could see some Azu buffs coming up. Maybe Tink Azu. But I actually like all of these Pokemon. I like them all. Now the question is, which one would I recommend over any others? And that is going to depend on what you need in your roster. But from each role, I think these are strong choices, right? If you need a support, Clefable is like, you need a healing support, Clefable's great if you're not playing one right now. If you need an all-rounder, like if you want an all-rounder speedster combo, Mimikyu I think is amazing. Speedster, there is only one option, and attackers I would probably stay away from. I'm trying to think what my #1 recommendation would be. I think not enough people play supports. I think not enough people play supports and not enough people play defenders. I'm doing it. I'm giving my rec to Wigglytuff. That's going to be my recommendation. However, it really depends on what you have, right? There are just so many great choices on here. I hope this helped. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for listening. I love you guys, of course. I will be live with the Switch 2, but I will also try to be live with the Switch 2 and Unite. So if it works on Switch 2, I really want to play it to see what that's like. But if not, we're going to be live with Mario Kart and things like that too. So I love you all. I'll see you very soon. Goodbye, guys. We did it.